Hello everyone, this is Orlando from A Collector's Dream. And today what I want to do is go over some of the key cards from the 1980s. And really I was thinking, what are the iconic cards? What are the real collectible cards? If I was looking through different decades, and I'm going to start with the 80s because when you get to the 90s, with all the inserts and parallels and stuff like that, it gets kind of complicated. But in the 80s, it's pretty simple, even though it was, some of the junk wax era. Still, there's some really classic cards that I think that if you have a collection, these are some of the cards I think you should own. And we'll start off, of course, in 1980 with the classic Rickey Henderson rookie. If you don't have this card in your collection, it's a must-have. And so this is the kind of stuff I want to share today. The must-have cards from the 80s in your collection, in my opinion, of course. And I do have every set from the 80s and every set from the 70s. So I'm going to see if I can do this also for the 70s after this one. But let's first start. So 1980, basically it's Rickey Henderson. That is really the last player that only had really one rookie card, and this is it. And every one of these cards I'm going to show you, I pulled from packs myself, put the sets together back in the day. So that's the first one, 1980. Now 1981, nothing really stood out as far as a must-have card for 1981. So I'm going to move on to 1982. In 1982, it's the Cal Ripken rookie. Again, another card that, if you're going to start a collection, and this is kind of what I'm trying to help with as far as, in my opinion, if you're going to start a collection from cards of the 80s, I think what I'm going to show you is a good start. Now, in 82, you also had the Ripken traded card, which many people would prefer that one versus the three-player card. And there's also the Donruss, and so there's a few variations. But I'm just throwing some samples and things. But for the main point, these two are the ones that I would consider owning for Cal Ripken's rookie card. For 1983, you've got a couple of big names here, and that is Boggs and Gwynn. And you just got to put these guys together. And again, classic cards from the 80s of Hall of Fame players that really were true superstars of the day. So I put them in together because you got to consider them, together. They also came out in the Fleer set, 83 Fleer and the Donruss and stuff like that. So, but mainly the main one, it would be the Topps. Second choice for me would be the Fleer. This is, they call it the butt card. And this one, you get a little bit better look at him. Again, also the same thing here, where you get a portrait and then the field one. So again, either one of these, great choices to have for Tony Gwynn and for Wade Boggs. 84. I gotta throw this in, not a Hall of Famer, but I still think it's a must-have. Doc Gooden came in and he was just electric. He looked like he was an instant Hall of Famer, and a very desirable card back in the day was his 84 Topps traded of Doc Gooden. So that's another one of those memorable cards from the 1980s. 1984 also brought what I consider really one of the first real kind of chase cards. This 84 Donruss Don Mattingly, Again, another one that's not a Hall of Famer, but, you know, Donnie Baseball, and, you know, this particular card was, you know, the card, you know. I did skip an 83. I mean, there is a Ryan Sandberg also, but I couldn't really include it as a must-have card, you know, as compared to the other guys, you know. And so 84, Don Mattingly, you know, you can also include this one in here too, which is the Topps, because of course it's Topps and it's the classic. But the real card, in my opinion, to own would be this Donruss Don Mattingly. That was a big card back in the day. You know, one that didn't really wasn't as big. This 84 Donruss Joe Carter. You know, I don't consider him one of the must-have cards, but yes, he is a Hall of Famer, and he is a you know, and this is his rookie card, his best rookie card. So, you know, I'll throw that in there just as a card that you can look at acquiring if you're a fan, if you like Hall of Fame players, their rookie cards. So moving on to 85, there's a couple of big cards in the 85 top set, and first is the Roger Clemens. Again, some of these guys are not in the Hall of Fame, and we all know why, but I'm talking about cards that were iconic cards back in the 80s that if you're going to put together a collection of 80s cards, these I feel are cards that you should include in your collection. So the Roger Clemens rookie card, the Mark McGwire, of course. You have to include Mark McGwire. This Team USA card was one of the most popular cards back in the day, and it was really a pretty big chase card back in 1985. And so gotta include that. Gotta include that. So now we're gonna move on to 1986. And look, if I missed anything, leave it in the comments. If you think there's any cards that I missed out, I have others here that I could, you know, I'm gonna throw in there, but we'll start 86 with the Canseco. 86 Donruss Canseco. Huge card back in the day. Probably was the biggest chase card back then. These were two I pulled from packs, and one that I had Jose autograph back in the day. Back in, I think it was 86 or 87 that I got his autograph on that. This card was a huge card. He was a huge player, literally and figuratively. He was a big player, and he was big. So the other cards of his, there's also the Fleer that he appears with Eric Plunk, and there's the Fleer, which is an update that he appears by himself. But the big card for Canseco again is the 86 Donruss. Was the big chase back in the day. The other 86 cards that were big back then was Barry Bonds rookie. So Barry came into the league, and you know what he did. He tore up the league. Probably one of the best players ever in the history of baseball, despite the steroids. But so a must-have. Barry Bonds traded rookie cards, and if you really want to go even further, go with the Tiffany version of it, and that's really my recommendation, is to go with the 84 Topps Tiffany Barry Bonds card. I do have I think all the Tiffany sets in boxes, and the 86 traded and the 87 Topps, I did open those and kind of graded a few of those cards. But big card, 86 Topps Barry Bonds, the regular version or the Tiffany version. Either one is an awesome choice. Also in that traded set is another big player. Again, not in the Hall of Fame, but I think that this is a classic card. I think it's a card that you should have in any 80s collection. And this one is the Tiffany version of the Bo Jackson card. There's also the regular version of it. So you have kind of a choice of, what you can get with that. And speaking of Bo Jackson, his real kind of rookie card really is considered to, I mean, this is his real rookie card, but the more famous that people tend to gravitate to is the Future Stars Topps card. And again, that comes in the both versions, in the traded and the, the Tiffany and the non-Tiffany. And these are the Tiffany versions of each one of those too. So 87 Topps was a big set, very popular set. You know, you also had the bonds in there, and the bonds also came in different versions, as far as you can get this bonds in the O-Pee-Chee version, and you can get this bonds in the Topps Tiffany version also, which I have somewhere out there. So, Bo Jackson, big name, big card. I think that's the one that you need to look at for 1986. Now in 87, they did come out with a few bonds cards, which, you know, they are considered as rookie, but the most desirable one is the Topps traded. So that's where I would go. These are more of a secondary to me. As far as rookies in 87, you've got the Greg Maddux. Probably the biggest rookie in 87 would be the Greg Maddux rookie. And this is the rated rookie, the 87 Donruss rated rookie. That's pretty much 87. 88, you know, you just really didn't have any big names, so I'm not gonna really include any 88s. I mean, you know, you have a few guys in there that you could include, probably, you know, Kurt Schilling, things like that, but no must-haves as far as 1988, in my opinion. If you could name one, leave it in the comments. And then, of course, 89, probably the must-have card of, you know, of the rundown here is the 89 Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr. Classic card, and again, one of those cards that you definitely should have in your collection for the 80s. So that covers the 1980s. And again, there were other cards of Griffey, you know, the Donruss and the Fleer, which again are great cards, but the must-have at this point would be the Griffey 89 Upper Deck. So I guess that's about it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave me some comments. What do you think? Did I miss anything? Anything I left out? So this is my ideas or my thoughts on the cards that are must-have cards for the 1980s. If you're going to be collecting cards from the 1980s. So, and I'm going to work on doing the 1970s next, and we'll go from there and see what happens. So thanks for watching, guys. This is Orlando from A Collector's Dream. Please like and subscribe. Leave me some comments. What do you think are the more classic, iconic cards that you must have from the 80s in your collection? Thanks for watching. It's Orlando from A Collector's Dream. And I'll catch you on the next one.